Erev Torah B'Tay. Something interesting I see in the book of the Zohar, Holy Zohar, it says over there that a person is not allowed to say something in Divrei Torah that he didn't hear from his rabbi. And if you say something which you didn't hear from your rabbi, it says over there you're going to get punished for that. Why? Because you're making Divrei Torah from the sky. Well, where did you get this from? You know, you think you can just make Divrei Torah like this? You know, something new. That's not Torah. This is not Torah. Torah is something that we received on Har Sinai. You know, we got it as a tradition. If you don't have from a tradition from your rabbi, how did you say this Torah? From where did you get this? Where did it come from? This is not Torah. So the interesting thing is, you know, important thing to understand is that it says in the Zohar Kadosh that the Torah, the whole Torah, is all the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's all the Shem Hashem. The whole Torah is the Shem of Shem of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Every letter of the Torah. So what happens is, if you say Divrei Torah, which is not true, not emet, you are being meshaker in the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because that's his name, the Torah. You're saying something sheker, you're making his name sheker. It's a lie, it's not true. This is the problem, you know. So says Rabbi Shimon, he warns his Talmidim. He tells them, don't say anything which you didn't hear from your rabbi. This is not Torah. You're going to get from this Gainam. That's what you're going to get. Not Torah. Not the Gan Eden. Don't say nothing like that.
So why do I need to study Torah if I can hear everything from my rabbi? I don't have my own.
Yeah, it's a good question. We're going to talk about this now. We're going to get into that. So that's what Rabbi Shimon says. Now I come and I ask you a question, you know. What about this concept of making a Chiddush in Torah? Do you know what this means, to make a Chiddush? You say something new in Torah. You know, that nobody ever said before. That's called Chiddush. You know what it says, Rabbi Nachman Mibreslev? He writes that we come to this world to say Chidushei Torah, to something new in Torah. That's what he says. So what, he didn't see the Zohar, Rabbi Nachman? He didn't know about the Zohar. What happened? Right? The truth is, you know, that we say Chidushim in Torah, the people who are studying Torah, we say Chidushim all the time in Torah. So what, we're doing a sin every time? According to Rabbi Shimon, it's a sin to do this. So what's the answer to that question? So you know what the answer is, right? The answer is like this. That, first of all, to answer your question, right? It's a good question, your question, which is like this, you know. When Rabbi Shimon says, don't say anything which you didn't hear from your rabbi, why only your rabbi? Maybe some other rabbi also, you know, no good? Some other rabbi also, maybe? You know, there was another big rabbi, he taught some things, you know, you learn from him. Is this you cannot say only from your rabbi? What does this mean? You know, but only from your rabbi. So I'll explain to you what this means. What it means is like this, you know, that in those days, they didn't have books in Torah, you know, Talmud, Midrash. They didn't have books, Salim. They didn't have. So the only place where you learned your Torah was from your rabbi. You got everything from him, 100%. You understand? There was nothing else. There was no books in those days. You understand? Because it's Torah Shabbat Peh. It's oral Torah. This is not something which you write in a book. Later on, they wrote everything in the book. Not everything, but a lot of things they wrote in the books. But before that, in the time of Rabbi Shimon, everything was Baal Peh, orally, by heart, they told you. And that's why it says over there, don't say nothing you didn't hear from your rabbi. You know why? Because that's all the Torah you have. You have nothing else. That's all you got, you know. There are no books. What books? What books do you have? You have nothing. So that's what it says about also in Talmud. It says about Rabbi Eliezer Gadol, you know, who was the Gadol, you know, of that generation. Where was Rabbi Akiva there? But he was a Talmid, Rabbi Eliezer. He was a Talmid of Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Akiva. He was a Gadol in that generation. It says in Pirkei Avot like this, right? If you look in Pirkei Avot, what does it say about Rabbi Eliezer? It's over there. It says that if you take Rabbi Eliezer on one side of the scale, right, and all the other Chachamim, he outweighs everybody. Rabbi Eliezer, he's bigger than all of them combined. He can put all of them in his little pocket, like this. That's how big he was, So it says about Rabbi Eliezer that he never said anything in Torah they didn't learn from his rabbi. Never. In his life. Nothing like that. That's exactly what Rabbi Shimon was telling them. Same thing. Understand? So this is something which they all knew, these things.
Well, he was on that level.
Can you imagine?
If you learn from
Yeah.
one rabbi, it's
Yeah.
only one level. You're not going to grow.
Well, yeah, that's an interesting thing what you're saying. That's an interesting discussion. But anyway, you get the understand. So now we have to understand, right? What's going on? What about Chiddush? What, I'm not supposed to say any Chiddushim in Torah? But Chachamim are always making Chiddushim in Torah. According, so how do you do that? So the answer is like this. The answer is that when you make a Chiddush in Torah, you say something new in Torah, you can't just, bring it from the sky, Yeah, I think it's like this, Yeah, I think so. You think so? Who cares what you think? The Torah comes from Hashem, it doesn't come from you. What do you think? You're God? What does it matter what you think? Doesn't matter what you think. But here's the thing, right? There is a way to do it. The way to do it is like this, that you heard something from Rashi, from the Midrash, from the Gemara, from the Zohar. You saw something there, and what you do is you take from there and you build something on top of it. This you can do. If you have a source, basis, yesod, you have a foundation to say something. You take from there and you build something and you add to that a little bit more. Something additional. This is called a kosher chidush. Kosher, not kosher. That's the way to make a chidush. But to say something which you have no source for this, no yesod, no foundation, this is a big avera. You're making the Shem of HaKadosh Baruch Hu sheker. That's what you're doing. You're saying sheker, and you're saying this is divrei Torah. This is not divrei Torah. It's a sheker what you're saying. You have no foundation
I
there.
have a question. We have a lot of people that doing gimatriot.
Yes.
It's a part of Torah. So if you're gonna gematria, it's coming from the mind. I'm gonna say it's like Bala Turim on the Torah. All of the perushim, it's gematria and gematria. So it's like it's something that you can calculate by yourself. So you can say it's an invention.
That's a good question what you're saying. It's a very good question what you're saying over here. And I want to answer this question because from this question we learn a lot of things. We have to understand these things. Also, regarding what you're saying, I want to add something also to a little bit more. You ever hear these books now they wrote, some professors, they wrote about the codes of the Torah. You heard this, right? They make codes, and they found this code and that code and this code.
And the tower, the twin towers.
Right, everything, everything. They found everything over there. They found the Holocaust, the Shoah, they found this, they found that. So, according to what we're saying over here, all these codes, we have to tell these people, take your codes and put it in the garbage because it's worth nothing. It's not Torah, your codes. I'm sorry, It's not worth 1 penny. Better to put it in the garbage, Don't even look at it. It's not Torah. This you're making from your own mind. Who told you? Which rabbi told you about these codes? Which, where you have a Masorah? You have a tradition for this? You're just making your codes, huh? Yeah, that's not Torah. This is sheker. You're making the words of HaKadosh Baruch Hu into sheker. That's what you're doing. Now, he's asking a good question, right? Which is, what about the gematria? Gematria is not sheker. Because, we have a Masorah for this, right? In the Talmud, there's gematria there. All kinds of things like this. Gematria, yeah. Letter, this letter is 10, this one letter is 9. So you know what the answer is to your question? The answer is, Nichora, it's to say like this, I'm pretty sure about this. The answer is that you cannot make a gematria for yourself. You have to have a tradition, you have to have a Masorah for that. If the Chazal say this gematria, you can use this gematria. If there's no basis for this gematria, you're just making it by yourself, this is also shit. Not worth nothing. This kind of thing. Same thing, by the way, it says in the Talmud, that we read every day in the Shachrit, right? B'shloshes midot Torah nidreshet. Rabbi Ishmael's Braita that we read every day in the morning, right? Kal v'chomer, all these things, right? So these are ways, 13 ways that you can make a drash in the Torah, to say something new, to learn something new. But you know what it says, right? The Mefarshim, they say that these methods, the 13 midot, the Chachamim of the Talmud, they didn't use it unless they heard that from their rabbi, this drasha. They never used it. like that. To say something new, that they didn't have a tradition. They had no masort for that. No, this is not the way to do it. You can only use this if you heard it from your rabbi. That's it. Who is our rabbi? For the whole Talmud is our rabbi, right? Baruch Hashem, we have the whole Talmud, right? Everything you see there, that's your rabbi. You know? And also all the other books that we have, after that, right? The Rambam, the Shulchan Aruch, and all these, the Midrashim, and all the Zohar. This is all our rabbis, because now we have Svarim, we have books, That's the thing. So, right, to finish this idea, right? Very important, by the way, this halakha. Very important idea. A lot of people don't understand this. Don't ever say anything in Divrei Torah that you didn't hear from some book, some rabbi, some chacham, whatever. Somebody who knows what he's talking about. Masoret. You have to have a tradition for. But just don't say something, there's no basis for what you're saying. This is sheker. You're doing an averah. You're going to get punished for this. So, the only thing you can do is like this, you take a Rashi, you take, some Midrash, you take a Gemara, you take a Zohar, and you take an idea from there and you say, because of this, we can say also this, One more step. You can go an additional step from the words of Chazal. This you can do, but to say something just from the sky, it fell from the sky. What fell from the sky? What fell from the sky? Are you crazy? What do you think? You're just making something new like that? This is not Torah. One more thing I want to tell you, also very important about this. There's a famous Rabbi Yitzchak Abarbanel, he was the big Chacham in Spain, right, in 500 years ago. He was also the economics minister, right over there, right? He was a big shot over there, in the Malchut, he was in the Malchut. And he also wrote, Perush on the Torah, Abarbanel, it's like a famous Perush, right? Everybody knows this Perush, whoever studies it. So there, he says some things, the Abarbanel. You would think, he's kofer. Why? Because the Gemara says one thing, that Shmuel HaNavi was, when he died, he was 52 years old. And he says, no, he was like 80-something years old. And it says Shaul only reigned, right, for 2 years, according to Gemara. He says, no, it was more than that. And it says in the Gemara that if you say David, he really sinned, you're saying sheker. He never sinned, David. He never broke the halakha. And this guy comes and says, no, he sinned. That's what he says. What gives him the power to argue with the Gemara like this, with the Chachamim? This is, you would think, right, this is like kofer, person like this, so how do you answer this question? So what the answer is? There's a klal like this, there's a rule like this in the Talmud. It says, a pasuk lo yotze mipshuto. You know what that means? What does that mean? Lo yotze mipshuto. So always, when you see the simple meaning of the pasuk, you read the Sefer Torah, right? You read the Navi, you read the Ketuvim, the Tehillim. The simple meaning, that is also emet, the simple meaning of the pasuk. Just a simple understanding of it is also emet. So if you want to understand it the simple way, just what the pasuk says, this is kosher, kasher, That's the thing, So a person, that's called a pshat. The lowest level of understanding of the Torah is just simple meaning. So you have a right to do that, as a mefaresh, like a parshan, you're a darshan. You want to do it this way, understand this way, the Torah, the simple meaning is kasher, kosher. Even though there's also drash, right? There's midrash, there's Zohar, there's Kabbalah, there's Remez, there's all kinds of things. But the simple meaning, so Abarbanel, that's what he's doing, you understand? He's telling you, according to the simple meaning of the Pasuk, this is the way it is, Not like the drash. So this is the Pshat, and this is not the drash. So, Elu ve'elu, divrei Elohim chaim. Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen, amen. לפיך אני שומר, נצא קדוש ברוך הוא לעזור לישראל, לפיך הכיר בה להם תורה ומצוות שומר וחפש, למען צדקו יגדיל תורה וידיר. אמן.